Hello and welcome to the Combustion Therapy channel. In today's upload, I'll be showing the simplest method of installing this rear differential into a 3 Series E90 BMW. We'll be taking every shortcut possible to ensure that this differential goes inside this E90 as smooth as absolutely possible. While at first this might look and sound like a large undertaking, the differential is actually only secured with a few mounting points, and once our drive shaft and CV axles are out of the way, it'll drop without too much trouble. Our 2.23 final drive rear differential spins smooth as butter without a peep. This is definitely what we're looking for, and I can't wait to get it mounted up since the current differential is whining and growling in typical BMW E90 fashion. Not sure why they ever introduced plastic components and shrunk the size of these differentials. As previously mentioned, while looking like a large undertaking, we're going to facilitate a large part of this process using our handbrake and shift selector. Actuating our park brake will allow us to lock up the rear CV shafts, meaning they can't spin. This will allow us to break free the E14 bolts securing them to the differential. With our 6 E14 bolts removed from each of the CV shafts, we can go ahead and place the vehicle into gear. This will lock up the drive shaft, allowing us to unmate it from the rear differential. The bolts securing our drive shaft to the rear differential are torqued quite heavily and will take quite a tug to break them free. In my case, the contours of my wrench didn't quite meet the curves of the U-joint, so I ended up modifying my wrench slightly on the grinder in order to make it happen. With our last bolt removed from the drive shaft and our CVs hanging, we can now target the mounts. The differential mount points include two 18mm bolts which pass through the ears on either side of the front of the differential, along with a larger 21mm bolt on top which passes through the subframe and bushing. On the vehicle, it's easiest to first target both front mounts. As we see here, I have both the majority of the way removed. Following this, we can go ahead and remove the 21mm fastener which passes through the bushing. Prior to removing the front mount bolts, you may have to remove a nut on the back side, which secures the exhaust hanger. After letting the rear 21mm diff mount soak in deep creep for some time and giving it a crack with the breaker bar, I encountered some resistance and decided to break out the M18 mid-torque, which had a lot less trouble than I did. After the mid-torque having gained us a little slack, I went ahead, put a breaker bar here on the back side of the differential. This is also a 21mm up on top. And then we can go ahead and continue running it the rest of the way out. When dropping your differential, you might choose to use something a little more traditional, like a jack. In my case, I'll be using this bucket. While I was unable to get any footage of the shimmying of the diff in order to facilitate its removal, I did notice once it was out that it was unfortunately slightly shorter than the replacement differential which I had picked up. This of course means that we'll be replacing drive shaft and CV axles. Yay!